Hey, this is Armon from Stay Busy with Armon Sadler, and I'm here to talk to you about the best podcast distribution platform called Anchor by Spotify. It's the easiest way to make a podcast with everything you need all in one place. Let me explain further. Anchor has the tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or computer. When hosting on Anchor, you can distribute your podcast on all listening platforms such as Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and more. It's everything you need to make a podcast in one place, and best of all, Anchor is free. We've been using it for 3 seasons now, so what are you waiting for? Download the Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started. Get your potting in. Live from Bedroom Studios, it is Stay Busy with Armon Sadler. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another edition of Stay Busy with Armon Sadler, where we have responsible discussions on the music business and the music culture. And when we are fortunate, which we have been, 2022 off to a great start, we bring in some incredible guests like we have for you today. I am Armon Sadler, vegan chorizo poppy. I am at Armon Sadler on Instagram, not at Sadler Armon, not at __ Armon Sadler. There's been some people impersonating me this week. I want to thank all the people who were kind about it and said, yo, you're like a celebrity. I'm not a celebrity. I'm like G-list. But the people who were trying to dunk on me saying, why does your fake page have more followers than your real page? Obviously, if you were impersonating someone, you were going to make it look realistic by buying followers to have a lot of followers. So all y'all people out there trying to make light of the situation when someone is trying to be me. Anyways, Nick, how you feeling?
I'm doing good. I thankfully don't have people impersonating me, so
not yet.
During my week, yes, not yet. Loading. We'll be swift to get them and report them, get them blocked. Mm-hmm. What's up, y'all? Nic Earley, executive producer and co-host, and Stay Busy. I am very, very excited for today. We got a lot going on. Yeah, man, just trying to. I like Zoom sometimes. You know, it's nice.
Yeah.
We get to bring in guests. We can just do Stay Busy nationwide.
You feel me? Exactly.
That's the thing.
Exactly. So we want to thank our guest, actually, who came from LA last week to join us, Rose Kranzvik. We had an amazing conversation with him. A very great Twitter Spaces. We put out the artists that y'all should be checking out this weekend. So make sure you tap in to all the content over there at the Brown Bag Podcast. They just hit 1 million views. So clap it up for them. Shout out to them. All that. Yeah. Be sure to tap into Busy Sessions episode 2 featuring Eric Penn. We put out the full performance of Sinking Sand this past weekend. People are really loving it. The man has an incredible voice, and just know he will be touching our stage the next time we have an event. So you do not want to miss it when he does. Of course, we got to shout out our guy, VP of everything, Kieran Hurley, the man that you cannot see, but you can feel holding it down. And Anchor, our distribution platform. If you do not know, Anchor will distribute your podcast for free to all the streaming platforms, and you get some sponsored ads regardless of your listenership. Now, we're getting into the main event. We have an incredible guest here. So let us tell you about this guest. Co-founder of Godmode, a Grammy-nominated artist development company whose label and management clients include artists like Channel Trace, JPEG Mafia, and Yaji. Thank you. I always mess up at least one pronunciation per episode, but hey, I'm not perfect. God knows.
It's a tough one.
Our guest was a senior A&R at Capitol, where she worked with artists such as Katy Perry, Sam Smith, and Beck. Prior to Capitol, our guest worked at WME, booking acts like Britney Spears. Hit me, baby, one more time. Grace Jones, as well as at Mick Management, where she worked with John Mayer and Sarah McLachlan. This is none other than Talya Elitzer. Talya, how you feeling? Welcome to the show.
What's up, guys? Thanks for having me.
Of course, it is a pleasure. Thank you. Stay Busy nationwide. Like Nick said, we do this so we can connect with people who are elsewhere in the world. We can't get them in studio, but we make sure that we have a great conversation for you all. And we got some great stuff happening. So thank you again for giving us your time, your energy, and your presence.
Yeah, man. I'm happy to be here.
Wonderful. So let's hear how you feel about certain things. So shout out to listeners tapping back in for season 3 as well. Whether you like juices or smoothies, documentaries or movies,
Okay.
crinkle cut or waffle fries, key lime or apple pie.
Ooh.
So juices or smoothies. Are you a green juice person or a green smoothie person or any other smoothies?
I mean, I gotta say, I know I live in LA, but like, I kind of don't fuck with the green smoothies. Sorry, can I curse on here?
Yes,
I don't know.
please.
Okay.
Do your thing.
I don't know. I'm not really here for that. If I'm having a smoothie, I want a real smoothie, you know. Or same with the juice, you know. But no, I'm kind of. I guess if I had to choose between juice and smoothie, I'd probably choose juice.
Okay.
What juice? What kind of juice?
I don't know, I love like a fresh squeeze OJ or
Yes.
like a, you know, something in that lane. So
Mhm.
there's a juice place up the street from us here in LA that's like $15 a juice or something like that. That's like, but they make a nice juice, you know.
Mhm.
I can't complain.
Exactly.
Now, are you a documentary person or you just sit back, watch a nice comedy, romantic comedy, horror movie? Like, well, what's your vibe for the cinema?
I like it depends what I'm in the mood for. I like documentaries. I like to learn, you know, it's a good way to learn about different stuff. But you know, I also love I was rewatching the other night Girls Trip, which I hadn't seen in a long time. It's been a minute, classic. And you know, I love, you know, it's dumb, but it's, you know, it's kind of what you need sometimes.
Right.
Mm-hmm. It's nothing like a good, funny, dumb movie. Like,
Yeah. I want to watch, like, you know, Jada peeing on some people, you know, go in New Orleans or something.
Nick, how about you? Documentaries or movies?
I'm typically I'm a movie guy mostly.
Yeah. Oh,
I
yeah,
like
of course.
I love, you know, I watch movies. I'll be
Mhm.
but docs, I like music docs the most. Really, I love like watching like the behind the scenes. Like I love Unsung, that series that's on TV. Was it TV1? It's like it shows, you know, just different. I like knowing the stories about how people came to be, you know, the moguls that they were or the stars that they were. I love learning about that. They come
Awesome. Of course. Now, this one might be contentious. It might get a little spicy here. Crinkle cut fries or waffle fries?
That is tough.
The hard hitting questions from the gate, Talya.
I feel like I don't. My issue with crinkle cut fries is that sometimes they're not crispy enough.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So like if they're crispy enough, then I'm with it. But if not, then I guess I'm saying waffle.
Who makes a good crinkle cut fry to you?
I don't know. I was just trying to think that. Like I don't like. I feel like it's been a minute for me.
The only people I can think of that does like crinkle cut fries like regularly is Shake Shack. That's the only place I can think of.
Oh yeah. And they're like
fries.
Thicker there too. I feel like their fries are not crispy enough.
Yeah.
No, Ryder fries. They're from the Walmart freezer section. There's nothing special about Shake Shack fries.
Yeah.
Really quickly, while we're on the topic, I'm a waffle fry person. While we're on the topic, thoughts over or under In-N-Out? Overrated or underrated?
I think it's properly rated. I'll say that.
That's fair.
I think because here's what I'll say. I'm not like I don't eat a lot of fast food, but if I do, that's what I'm going to eat because at least it's like, you know, that you're not eating like, I mean, I love Taco Bell, don't get me wrong, but like Taco Bell is like they're putting like powder and turning it into beans. Like that's not even food.
Exactly.
So it's like In-N-Out, at least you're like, oh, this is like an actual burger. This is like actual vegetable. Like you're getting the thing.
It's the freshest that fast food can be. It's still just regular fast food. I try to tell these East Coast. I'm from Covina, California, so just outside.
Oh, so you know, okay.
I was just at home and I ate In-N-Out 3 times. And I was in there 10 days. I had it like 3 times. I just try to tell people at the end of the day, it's just a burger. And Vic, our guest last week, was saying it's always an 8. You can count on it. It's always an 8.
Yep.
So
Now here's my thing. I didn't get to explain myself last week. Yeah, us East Coasters are judged for the expectations that we have going to have In-N-Out, but where do we get the expectations from? You LA people who come to the East Coast and talk about how great this burger is. I would go there expecting nothing if y'all didn't come like In-N-Out. Y'all swear by it. Y'all act like it's golden. It can't do no wrong. So, you know, I'm planning a trip to LA soon, and I'm going to give it another fair shake. You know, hopefully my expectations are quelled. Maybe they're so low now. Like you either go up or I'm just done. I'm like, this will be my 3rd time having it. I'm not giving it another chance after. Hopefully
Wait, so what didn't you like? What was the issue?
It kind of just tasted like a basic burger to me, and like the fries were not good. Now I got
Did you get the onions?
I did.
Okay.
Yeah, and the second time I tried it, I got like the wild style or whatever, and animal style, and like the fries with all the fixings, like the super greasy,
Animal
all
style
like.
fries.
But it was just too much. I was like, why do I need all this to for the fries to be good? I should just enjoy the fry itself. Why do I need all these fixings?
Oh, I mean, McDonald's. If you want fries, McDonald's, I feel like is where the best.
top tier.
No fat. Yeah, like yeah. That's just what you want. But it's like. But yeah, I don't know. It's the line. I mean, it speaks for itself. Like there's always a crazy line.
That's true.
She gets it.
True. I don't know.
I'm from New York. I'm from New York, though, for the record. So I'm still saying that.
Okay. All right. And there's a lot of people who move to LA, and like I think they just get conditioned or like they get hypnosis by it. I don't know what it is. But enough on the in and out. Lastly, key lime or apple pie?
Apple pie all the way.
Ain't nothing better than hot apple pie with some vanilla ice cream.
Ooh, yeah.
And it's just melting it and just
yeah. Yeah.
I love that. I like key lime too, but apple pie is, it's too crazy.
Yeah, key lime's good. It's very underrated. Very underrated. It's good stuff.
It is.
Good. Well, this was our very hungry section of Stay Busy. Let's get into the chat. So first, Silk Sonic announced that they have a Las Vegas residency starting in February. Thoughts on this, Talya and Nic?
I mean, I think it's pretty crazy. I think like it's good for Anderson, I guess. not to be shady, but just like it's, Bruno obviously could do this any day of the week. And so, I mean, it's, I guess good for them. And I think it's something probably that, look, the music's cool. It hits that, my mom likes it. And, I think that's good. That's like what Vegas is, right? Mm-hmm. It's like that type of stuff. It's a family friendly show.
It's giving a little shade though, Talya.
Yeah, it's a little, I'm sorry, I can't help myself.
So like, no, let's
I have to be
shade. Bring the sun out on the shade. Like, where's the shade coming from?
I mean, look, it's Vegas residencies. Like if you're in the, like, that's where the money's at, and that's like a big deal. And like the news of Adele, I don't know if you guys heard, Adele like postponed her residency yesterday, like the day before. It was supposed to start today. Yeah. And like, that's like crazy because her residency was like, over $100 million, I think. So it's like, it's pretty crazy. So no, I think it's a huge look for them.
Yeah.
And maybe more of a statement too about what Vegas is trying to do and trying to bring in more, like, I mean, I guess that's probably like diverse for them because Vegas is like,
Yeah.
So actually, Talya, I'm curious about your thoughts on, for Anderson, you said, like this is a good look for him, right? Bruno's kind of.
You guys are going to get me in trouble.
TE said it. That's what how do you feel about this? For me, it was like, this is kind of early. I think of Vegas residency as like a comeback situation. Like that's like when you reach that level, that icon status, then you get it. And you
for sure.
Like, it's like how you ride out the back nine of your career to me.
For sure.
So what are your thoughts on it? Feels early for Anderson.
It definitely, I mean, it feels early for that project in general.
Yeah,
like
exactly.
Like I guess they put out an album, right?
Yeah.
Album.
November.
But still, like, that's fresh. I mean, I think that's cool. I think it's really cool for Vegas. Like, I think you go, like, I was going to go with a bunch of girlfriends for a weekend and we were like, what are the shows? What should we see? And it was like Adele or Katy Perry and, and then obviously like all the DJ stuff.
Right.
If you're not trying to go to the club and you want to go see a show, it's a very specific thing. Like not like a party show.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's a, I think it's cool. I think clearly Vegas is trying to like get with it a little bit and, kind of get with the times a bit. So can't complain.
No,
but yeah, it's definitely a big, like Anderson wouldn't be able to do a residency on his own.
Yeah. Yeah.
At this stage. Yeah.
That's what I interpreted your comment is. It's like Bruno and Anderson's star power is just it's just different levels. And again, it's not shade to Anderson. I'm a big Anderson fan. He's incredible.
100. Yeah.
But what Bruno's done commercially, like over the course of his career, it's just like he could do it by himself really at any time. So for him to do it for Anderson, it's dope. It's dope. It's really dope to see.
And that could have been part of it too. It could have been like, oh, we've been trying to get Bruno for years. We couldn't get Bruno, didn't want to do it, but this is a way to get Bruno.
Right.
To that point, I feel like this is where the music would best live at the same time, like in this sort of Vegas residency feeling too. So
yeah,
totally. Also some insidery information. I'm completely making this up. This may not be at all the case, but Adele and Bruno have the same agent, so it could have been like a negotiation thing.
Okay.
I'm making that up completely, but it's
reasonable.
Could have been a thing.
Right. Awesome. So we spoke a few weeks ago about the Grammys being rescheduled. We were kind of speculating, like, are they going to do it in June? Summer Grammys could be cool. They officially locked in on a date, April 3rd in Las Vegas at the MGM Grand Garden Arena, and they'll be playing on CBS. Thoughts on this? Vegas just getting everything. Vegas got.
So when we were prepping for that, I was like, Vegas is getting everything now. They're really trying to like do something over there. So
we've been talking about it a ton in my office, actually. Like, I wonder if it's like COVID shit, maybe that like they have the regulations are like a little looser there than they would be in LA or New York, you know, because they've been open this whole time. But so I wonder if it's that, or just like, I don't know. I guess they have like the hotels and the capacity to like put people up easily. So
they do,
who knows?
Obviously, a very, very fun place to visit. Of course, lots to do, lots of nightlife and all that. So it should be a pretty fun time for everyone who attends. So yeah, that's exciting. I'm looking forward to it. So an interesting story report, and I don't know necessarily if this has been verified. I don't know if it was just one of those hip hop accounts just making it up, but it has been reported that Jay-Z and Meek Mill are attempting to pass a law that will not allow rap lyrics to be used in court cases. What are our thoughts on this?
Initial reaction. I heard something about this, but I'll give it to Talya.
I actually didn't hear about this. That's so interesting. I mean, I understand both sides of it, I guess. But I don't know why rap lyrics would be different than anything else. So it's it's, you know, it's art, and it's not necessarily like reflective of real life. So you don't want that to be held against you if you're, you know, talking shit about somebody else and shit goes down. You don't want that to you know, be held against you in a court of law or whatever. But yeah, I don't know. That's pretty intense.
That is intense. No, I heard something about like that it's actually, they're not attempting to pass a law, but that the law has already been like, people have put forth the bill. I forget how the government system works, so forgive me. But they have basically like, they signed a letter of like, they're like in agreement with this bill or this proposal. So I don't think that it was them like spearheading the effort. It was them just like, jumping on and saying like, hey, yeah, that's what I heard when I saw this.
That makes sense.
No way.
Because I don't think Hove is concerned with that type of shit anymore.
Definitely not. Definitely not.
Problems.
Yeah.
It's interesting though, because I've seen a lot of the feedback on it, and kind of similar to what you said, Talya. It's like, you know, music is storytelling. A lot of these artists are reflecting their realities. You know, we've seen situation with like, you know, Y&W Melly, where like in his court case for murder, he's literally got a song, "Murder on My Mind," where he tells the story of like what he actually did to his friends, and that's part of what, you know, got him caught up. And I think Pooh Shiesty as well. He's got lyrics, and 6ix9ine, of course, and, you know, a bunch of different people have self-incriminated themselves by telling their story. But then there's the other side where like artists are storytelling, but not necessarily reflecting their realities, and things can still be used against them. So it's a really interesting thing to kind of to navigate and see. So I'm interested in how it ultimately plays out. But I
also wonder what like the precedent is for that, because like if you write like in other mediums, you know, because it's not just rap. Like if somebody was gonna like, if there was like I'm making this up, but if somebody like painted something, or I can't imagine, like that seems like that would definitely be held against them in court.
Yeah,
it's interesting.
Yeah, this could potentially, well, not necessarily be a slippery slope, but I don't know. It's just interesting. It's very interesting waters to navigate. So we'll see what happens with that. Getting into some numbers, some Billboard 200 numbers. Pleasantly surprising for those who are big fans of Gunna, but Gunna beat out The Weeknd for the #1 spot on the Billboard 200 albums list. And there was a lot of conversation going into this. The projections came out, and Gunna was real close to The Weeknd, and obviously, Weeknd, he's a major pop star at this point, global, like almost an icon. And his rollout for Dawn FM was kind of non-existent. We saw with After Hours, there was a big rollout with that Starboy. Like typically the Weeknd is giving you a lot leading into something. With Dawn FM, it was really just Take My Breath drop a couple months ago, and then he gave us a track list, gave us a couple videos, and he put it out. And J5, who we had a couple months ago, he said, this is kind of like a heat check album for the Weeknd. It was like the Weeknd just seeing how well he could do without putting a lot into the promotion. And we see Gunna with like Pushin' P being this huge viral moment, this big hit, and then finally, he drops Pussy Power, Drake on the album, and Gunna just typically does pretty well commercially. To see Gunna beat out The Weeknd for the #1 spot is it's a pretty big deal. So salute to him. How do you guys feel about that? Do you guys feel like The Weeknd kind of mismanaged the rollout?
I mean, it was pretty crazy. A lot, like honestly, I've talked. So many people brought it up to me, and friends of mine who work at both of their labels too have been like, kind of both. I think everyone's been surprised. But and also like I think the Gunna album, like with the Drake feature and stuff, like that's gonna have legs. And I know that they're the Weekends that now they're working on other stuff to kind of continue the rollout. I've heard about a bunch of stuff that they're putting together, but it's it's super surprising. And I guess the Weeknd, it's a different path. I guess the Weeknd, they're going to work it at radio. They'll do, all that. But they also released, it was kind of all at once. And I haven't really seen, I haven't seen the songs much past that.
Yeah. There's been a lot of conversation about Dawn FM in comparison to past Weeknd albums, not necessarily having that hit. Like Take My Breath was synced for a WWE pay-per-view.
For sure.
I think it's been in a few commercials, but I really liking the album. I myself have been like, what would be the thing that catches on? I think Out of Time is an obvious song that could do well on radio, rhythmic radio. And I don't know about the rest of it. I mean, I really like that album. There's a lot of songs I really like on it, but thinking beyond my preferences, I'm like, what can I see playing in a Super Bowl commercial or playing, elsewhere? Like, I don't know. And I don't think that's necessarily something that works against the album, but it's just, typically a Weeknd album, there are things that catch. Blinding Lights, Heartless, and a couple other songs, Save Your Tears from After Hours, all went crazy. Starboy went crazy. Like, it's just, he typically makes music that transcends just our listening experience, but it kind of exists within society. So
it's true. I'm sorry to interrupt you.
No, you're good.
I was just gonna say, I remember when he did all that stuff with like the bandages on his face too, and that whole thing. And I was sort of waiting for a moment for it all to be tied together. And then he looked like he had like the plastic surgery face at one point too. And I'm like, but it never really like added up to anything. So I was sort of like waiting for like a big reveal or a big something. And then his album cover, even with him like looking old, I'm sort of like, I don't know what does it mean? Just vibes. Exactly.
I'm guessing it was just vibes. No. It's funny. I feel like this whole thing is more of a testament to Gunna doing well as opposed to The Weeknd doing poorly.
100.
Just because it's The Weeknd, it's going to be nuclear numbers every time, so all of that, all of that to say, I think it just showed how, Gunna is P. I don't know what to say. P, like pushing P.
Crazy.
100%. Yeah, this was like The Weeknd's lowest first week too in quite some time. This Beauty Behind the Madness went crazy. Starboy went crazy. Like it was definitely interesting to see. So and it looks like Gunna's gonna beat him for the #1 spot in week 2 as well. So we'll see about that. But finally, to get into some new music, pretty low-key release weekend. It's like we've kind of we started off hot with Gunna and The Weeknd, and then last week we got Cordae and Earl Sweatshirt. This week, personally for me, there was no album that I was really checking for. But we did get some cool singles. So we talked about this a couple weeks ago. Young Blue featuring Neo, Walk Through Fire, piano ballad, wedding music. Hearing the snippet, I love the snippet. So, hearing the actual song, I wasn't really disappointed. The only thing, there's a weird part at the end where like Young Blue repeats like Walk Through Fire. And it's just kind of like, I feel like you could have just let the beat breathe a little bit and then run back the hook. But apart from that, I thought the song was really great. I'm big on Young Blue. I'm Neo's mom, my R&B goat. So like they
on both of them.
they really can't do wrong. How'd y'all feel about it?
Talya,
I mean, I was happy to hear. I was happy to see Neo's name. Just generally, and it's been a minute probably for me, but no, it was cool. We were joking over here that I bet when they were making the record, there's some version of this record that has like big trap drums in it, and then probably like the engineer like accidentally muted it, and then they were like, wait, we should take out the and then that kind of like became the record. And but also like that's a lot of the stuff that we talk about here, is that like I think sometimes greatness in music comes not from adding stuff but from taking stuff away.
She gets it.
It's but no, it's beautiful. It's a beautiful record.
Yeah, 100%. And then Nic Earley.
It's funny. I'll be honest, I didn't get to hear it, but I will run it back and we'll do a responsible revisit next episode. But from which y'all
it's what you
said,
imagine it to be.
From what y'all have said, imagine, Talya, would you walk down the aisle to it?
Yeah, hell yeah.
Oh, okay, cool. But I feel like you cool. I feel like you would do an unconventional walking down the aisle. I don't know if you're married already, but I feel like you. Okay, I feel like you did like an unconventional walking down the aisle.
Yeah, we didn't do anything normal. So yeah.
Nice.
Love that. We heard from Sabrina Claudia for what I think was the first time in quite some time. She dropped a record, Put on Repeat. How'd you feel about it?
I mean, she literally, the song is put on repeat, and that is on repeat for the entire song. So, no, it's cool. It's cool. I think it really, like, the lyric really goes with the production, and it's, it's really like you're kind of in the zone when you're listening to it.
Yeah, something you expect. I think she had to go for like low hanging fruit. I think coming back from this whole debacle because it was, people brought up the old Twitter messages. For those who don't know, listeners who don't know, she had some controversy. There were some comments said from way back when on Twitter, I believe, where she was disparaging Black women. And
really?
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah.
So she had a little quick
no
cancellation there from a lot of people. Yeah. So she had a little quick cancellation. She was picking up steam for sure too.
Yeah.
They uncovered that. And she was quiet, very quiet. I think that happened around 2019, late 2019, early
2018, 2019-ish. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Because I think it was after the Sir feature though, maybe because Sir, Chasing Summer is 2019, but I love that record. But anyways, she wasn't big enough to be your toxic fave, so people gladly canceled her. Yeah. So I mean, she has to go for low hanging fruit to kind of ease her way back in.
Yeah, it's a very meta concept, put on repeat. Like, but it was cool. It's cool. It wasn't like amazing to me. Like I didn't put it on repeat, but it was good. It was good. The biggest talk of this weekend, we got a record called Lick by, is it Shensi?
Yeah.
Shensi, featuring Megan Thee Stallion. There's been a lot of discussion about this. A very expressive music video, for lack of a better word. I think the song was cool. I like Shensi. I've been checking her stuff out for the last few months. And I thought Megan's verse was cool as well. And it's kind of the thing I talked about when Megan's debut album, Good News, came out. She's got a great flow, a great rap voice, a great energy and spirit. Lyrically, for me though, it's still just like it's not there. It's just not there. It's predictable lines, crack it like a crab leg, suck it out. It's just like stuff like that. I'm just like, and the big thing with Megan, I don't know if I'm gonna open up a can of worms, but there's a lot of people who critique her, and they don't critique the music. They critique how she dresses, she shows her body off, which I think is lame. Like, let her cook. If she wants to do that and she's getting popular off that and she's comfortable in that, do that. For me, it's always just the music. And I think the way she started, her early stuff was great. And for me, she's kind of declined a little bit. So it's kind of like, I'm not as excited to see her name pop up as I was back in the day. So I think, whatever she does next, I know she dropped like an EP a couple months ago, and it doesn't really seem like it's made too much noise. It's like, bro, at one point she was one of the biggest things in rap. Like, she was everywhere. Everyone loved her. People were crowning her. She collected her Infinity Stones, Beyonce, Cardi, Nicki. It's just like she was untouchable at one point. And now it's kind of like, we're kind of over that hump and seeing what could be reality. So I've talked a bunch.
Ooh, brutal. Brutal. No, I mean, I think I think she's kind of like the Ludacris of our generation, of this generation. Like, it's like I always joke that Ludacris is rap music that white people can rap along to. And so I feel like she's kind of like that in her, I mean, maybe she's a little like less so, but it's, I think I love her flow. I love what she represents. I think the video is like nasty. I love that they literally have the brand deals are so transparent. They're like laying on a Visa credit card, and then they're like holding some sex toy, and literally in the description, it's like link to the song, link to buy the sex toys in the description. Like, wow. I was like, well, I didn't even know what it was. I didn't even know what the company was called. And I clicked it. I was like, oh, got it. But but no, I mean, honestly, I support her. I think I think it's so cool to have finally like a Black female rapper, like first time in a long time, probably first time since Nicki, I guess. Is that right? Maybe.
Cardi too.
Cardi, sorry. Yeah.
She's pop though. She's kind of popish, leaning pop, I think.
Yeah. But I guess it's just cool to have someone like her be, as big as she is. I think you're right that like the newer stuff isn't hitting as hard, but I'm sure she'll come with some heat.
Yeah. Nic Earley.
I mean, so for Talya, I'm Jamaican, so I'm always, rooting for my people to do something great. Shensi, I wasn't feeling it. I just didn't feel the whole record at all. Yeah. It was very like, Megan, we've heard this. How many times are we gonna hear this? People I saw, because a lot of the backlash was saying, okay, girl, like at this point, we get it. You a baddie, like you pop it, you do your thing. Like, we get that. Can you please tell us about your degree? Like, tell us about the people literally were saying that, like, tell us about the degree. Tell us about, you beating this, the whole tour situation. Sure. Talk about anything, literally anything, but always, the same topics that she's always talking about. So it's like,
no, you're right. I guess she's kind of like playing it safe.
Exactly.
Like, it feels like she's not getting into the real stuff.
Yeah, it's like, okay, we hit a plateau. We cooked on a few records. Okay, we got it. All right, now when are we going up? When are we going up here? So I think it's that point where I think she needs to lock in with like a producer or maybe two producers and just like try to really crank out a project. It can still be fun, big commercial music, but I think it's just got to go somewhere more. Yeah,
for sure. I feel that.
Yeah, you've got to infuse that storytelling. That's what takes it to the next level. Like, one of my favorite things about Cardi's album, Invasion of Privacy, she started off the intro, Get Up 10, where she's talking about her come up, like people doubting her, like, she had to strip back in the day. It was like, to start an album like that, coming off of her big singles, Bodak Yellow, Drip, Be Careful, all that. It was like, people might have expected Cardi to really only be pop type stuff and just fun stuff. And then she gave us those types of stories. And she's just a very relatable person. Not that Meg isn't relatable, but I think that's one thing that held Good News back, is we really only got the intro, Shots Fired, talking about Tory, and then it was kind of the same stuff. Like, we want to see the artists we like level up, do different things, and
completely.
You can only play it safe for so long, and kind of keep the same wheel spinning before it's like, all right, like, do you want to buy a new tire, or you're gonna ride them wheels out? So love Meg though, for sure.
Naked tires, no tread.
Yeah.
Treadless tires.
Let's jump into our employee of the month. I want to give a big shout out to the guy, Devon Terrell. As you know, singer, songwriter, owner of HMD Studio, co-host of the Need to Know pod. I don't know if you guys have seen that TikTok challenge. It's like Stacey Ryan's got that where she like opens up the verse on her song to Don't Text Me, and then everyone is adding their own verses to it.
I've seen that.
So I've seen a lot of talented artists do it. Devon did one himself, and he's been killing those TikTok challenges and TikTok fun things like that. So if y'all don't follow him, it's DEVVONTERRELL on TikTok. You can check out all his content. He's hilarious. And like I said last week, he's equally talented. So worth tapping into. Now, let's jump into some tunes. Let's hear what we talking, Frank Ocean. What's up?
The best song wasn't the single, but you weren't either.
All right.
Come back, Frank. Come back. I say this. I've said this for the last like 6 episodes. Come back, please.
We gotta put like a sign on like a graphic, like "Come back, Frank" every time the little interlude plays. Like 500 days without Frank. Like,
Right.
Just keep adding numbers to it.
The tally. Put a tally mark.
But our guests, we want to hear what record you brought for us to play for the slide decks. What you got for us, Talya?
I brought a record by Famlay, which is
Nice.
his record called The Beeper Record. And I think Famlay in general is so underrated. And if for people who don't know, he rolled with Pharrell and the Neptunes during like those early times. I think he always picked Pharrell's like weirdest beats to hop on. And he had like a feature on the Clips album. And I think he's still on the creative team for Pharrell at Other Tone.
Yeah.
Or what? Yeah.
Yeah, I am.
I'm one of them.
One of the two. Yeah.
Yeah, one of the two. I just this song is incredible, and kids probably don't even know what a beeper is, but it's I'm here for it.
All right, let's tap in.
We in the VIP and we sippin' on bub. I'm in the VIP and I'm lighting up drugs. I keep a 4/5 right down by my nuts. See me on my two-way and I keep it glowing, cuz. Hit me on my beeper, hit me on my beeper, hit me on my beeper, hit me on my beeper. You looking for the beige and the green and the diesel. Hit me on my beeper, hit me on my beeper.
You want it, I got it, you need it, own it, you got it, come see it, hate it, they gotta compete with prices, I doubt that they beat it. Narcotics, you gotta come get it, straight money, gotta come with it. Telling you now that my shit is bigger than knuckles on midgets.
I care that for the nigga, I care that cake cut. Them smokers on me, killer, I get that paper. I got exotic, homie, I pump that purple, homie. That's how I got it, homie, I duck them turtles, homie. Kiss me on the night shift like the Commodore. You was about that bullshit, what you call me for? Watching my cash stack, I got the metal handy. I keep a knapsack full of the devil's candy.
As long as I keep it, it's selling. Act like you keep it, you wellin'. Sick of that bullshit, you yelling. Hurt cause your people keep telling. Know that you broke cause it's showing. Supposed to have coke and you blowing. Oh, I know niggas you own.
That was a giant.
He was getting off.
That was a giant.
He was getting off at the end.
I like that.
It's hilarious. Yeah.
Oh my
He's super
gosh.
talented. I mean, he's if you're out there, Famlay, we would love to put out your record.
Famlay, pull up to God mode.
Yeah.
Famlay. How do you even spell Famlay? I'm just
FAM-LAY.
Oh yeah, okay. Famlay. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, check out the video. It's pretty good.
It
That
was
was
giving
fun.
like country Weird Al for me. I don't know why. Like it was like a country version of it, like just like my cousin in Memphis or something like that, just giving me like the 3-6,
It's a
maybe like
funny
a
record.
3-6 at Weird Al. Like I loved it.
Yeah. You're just gonna have "Hit Me on My Beeper" stuck in your head all day.
Honestly.
Now I gotta run it to get it again. So.
Put it on repeat.
Yeah.
Exactly.
You know who produced that one?
I don't. I mean, I assume it's the. Let's see. Assume it's the Neptunes, right?
It was
Someone in that camp.
probably, yeah. So while we do that, I guess I can go while
Yeah.
Talya finds that.
Yeah, go
producer.
ahead.
I found this artist, really enjoyed just stumbling upon this artist and found this song that I really enjoyed. It's called Good Love by a brother by the name of Otis Kane. Otis Kane featuring Cali Technis, produced by, I believe, Otis Kane. Let's hear it.
I just want you. A little more time and a little more wine might do. All the money in the world wouldn't change how I feel about you. How I feel about us. We got good love, baby. We got good love, yeah. When I'm with you, I be losing control. No substitute for what your body can do. And you take me higher, higher. I need this feeling forever. It's physical. I try to fight it, but I just can't let you go. I don't know. It's unnatural. I don't want need you for my soul. I can't let go. I can't let go.
Yes, sir.
Okay, that was a vibe.
Mm-hmm. Otis,
Good
he
vibe.
sound like a Otis. Like his name, like his name needs to be Otis. You know what I'm saying? It's for that, and that's his stage name. It's not even his real name. His name, I forget his real name, but I think it's like Aaron Vasquez or something like that. But nah, Otis. We like Otis. Otis is giving. It's giving.
I like that. Smooth.
Yeah.
That was dope. Definitely want to hear that out somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
And for me, I brought a record. Shout out to the Spotify algorithms once again. And I'd actually been hearing this guy's name a lot from a couple of my friends. I just never got the chance to tap in. And Spotify blessed me. So I brought Colorway by Destin Conrad, produced by Los Hendrix. That's the family. Homeboys Would Not Sent. They both produced on Good Days. And then Louis Lastic. So let's jump into Colorway.
Funny how we not similar. We make love anyway. Mesh well like colorway. When I'm down, love me anyway. We take well to each other like colorway. Fade away, love remains the same. Two different shades like colorway.
Yeah. I love Los's production.
Yeah, man. Los,
Cool.
very versatile. Very versatile. I love that. That's some good R&B soul, man. People are so critical of this male R&B soul today. Destin is one of them. That's
true.
Yeah. In Busy Sessions, Eric mentioned him. That was one of the guys he mentioned, Destin Conrad, Fabo. So yeah, I'm a big fan of Dustin, really like his project. So if y'all are not familiar with him, you can tap into him, just like you can tap into all of our slides available on the Stay Busy slide deck playlist on all platforms. Hit the link tree in our IG bio. And if you would like a slide added to the deck, whether you are an artist or a fan and you want to put us onto some good music, let us know. Hit us at Stay Busy Pod on IG or Twitter, or email us at staybusypod@gmail.com. We want to know who are some upcoming artists that we should be paying attention to in 2022. Now, speaking of artists, we are going to get into our conversation with our guest, co-founder of God Mode, Talya Elitzer. So let's start from the beginning. You mentioned that you are from New York. Well, where in New York did you grow up?
I grew up in upstate New York, actually. And then once I finished, I moved city. I lived there for a while before I came to the dark side out here. So.
Oh my gosh, not shade. I thought you were on my side.
I honestly love it here, but I was like that type of New Yorker. I'm still back. I'm still like, I was like the kind of ride or die, but now I don't know. I love LA. It's like I feel embarrassed to say, but I should like whisper it.
No, you can love both. You can love both.
Yeah. But yeah, I started out. I grew up in New York and then lived in the city for a while.
Awesome. Now, talk to us about your family dynamics a little bit. Like, whether you had siblings and like who in your family you do think that you're most alike.
Oh, that's a good question. I grew up. I have a younger sister. And that's it. Pretty small family. Probably most like my dad, though, in a lot of ways, because he's also an entrepreneur. And kind of like a chill, rational guy, which I like to think I'm chill and rational too. But
giving chill and rational.
Yeah. But I actually learned about music. My mom was the one who really, is a big music fan, and was was like a, you know, hippie from the 60s, 70s, that kind of a lot of Michael Jackson and the Beatles. And my mom used to like test me on like which Beatle was singing. She would like quiz me as a kid.
Oh, wow.
So it was I got all that from her.
That's awesome.
Were they was there like, and did anyone play music? Did anyone sing? Was that a thing at all? Or
My parents did it. I grew up playing the piano since I was a real little kid, since I was like 4 years old. And then I played guitar for a bit. I'm so jealous of kids now because like they have their laptops, which like I wish I could have been making beats as a kid, you know, but it just it wasn't invented yet. So it's but yeah, kids have it so good now.
They do.
But yeah. But yeah, nobody else really played instruments in my family. So
did you have aspirations of being an artist yourself, or was it just something that you kind of did as a hobby?
No, I did it. I always loved music, and it was something I did as a hobby. And honestly, like, I don't know about for you guys, but like, I mean, I didn't grow up around anyone who worked in the entertainment, let alone music industry.
Oh, wow.
And I didn't even know that was like a job a person could have. Like, as a kid, I feel like as a kid, like, you know, you're like, you can be a doctor, you can be a business person, you can be a lawyer, you could work in advertising, but like, that was like the craziest thing I knew about. And it wasn't until like, I started like, you know, I was like fans of different artists, and I started being like, oh, I remember seeing the manager of an artist, like a local artist, and I was like, whoa, they have a manager? Like, I didn't even know. Like, it just didn't occur to me as like a teenager that like that was the thing. And then I was like, that's what I want to be. Like, whatever that job is, like, that's what I want to do.
Wow, that's beautiful.
So yeah, I didn't know about anything, but I figured it out along the way.
So tell us about the story from how the career started. So you said, I want to be a manager. And then where did you take from there? You started in the WME mailroom at least I think that's where you started, right?
I did.
Right. So just kind of bring us from there all the way to current day.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, honestly, I should say this, like, I had no connections to the business, and all I did, I like hustled my ass off to get the right internships and to like get in the mix that way. And then, you know, most of those jobs, you hear about it a lot, that it's like kids with connections or their parents or,
of course, yeah,
you know, whatever, get that. And I had no connections, and I like spammed the shit out of them with my resume. Like, I mailed it. I like physically mailed it. I emailed it. I faxed it. Like, any way I could possibly get it to them, I sent it to them, and they somehow read my resume and you know, called me in for an interview. But but yeah, I worked there I started in the mailroom there, like classic story, literally pushing a mail cart, and then quickly got promoted and worked for an agent named Sam Kirby, who is a big agent. She does a lot of electronic stuff. She does anyone from like, she does Alicia Keys to LCD Sound System to Swedish House Mafia to like MIA, a whole range of stuff. And I was very lucky to have her as a first boss. She's kind of like my mentor in the business now. And so I worked for her for a while. And then honestly, when I was like 22, 23 working for her, and I met my now business partner, Nick Sylvester, he's like one of the OG guys from a website called Pitchfork, if anyone's familiar.
Maybe.
And I don't know. Literally, we talk to young kids now sometimes, and they have no idea what I'm saying. So it's like so I don't know. I don't assume anything anymore. But so he was like one of the OG guys there, and was learning to produce music under this guy James Murphy, who's the lead singer of a band called LCD Sound System. And we just started like putting out records as like a reason to throw a party, like when we were like you know, young and wanted, like, that was like when the scene in New York was like really popping. And so yeah, we would just like put out records like as an excuse to throw another party, and kind of just had like a scene kind of happening in New York. And then I moved out to LA for the Capitol gig, and basically there was an artist that sent us an unsolicited, he just sent us like his random demo. Nick happened to listen to it, and he was like, I don't know, like, this person's voice is super androgynous. Like, I don't know who this is, but whoever this is, we got to work with them. And we flew him out. we ended up developing him. Nic produced his music, and we signed him to a label, not our label. We signed him to another label, and we were acting as managers. And working with another label, it's not even a knock on that specific label. It's just working with labels in general can be really challenging because they have a very specific idea of what they think is important and how they want to spend money. And they were saying to us, they're like, hey, we got you this billboard in London. Like, isn't that great? And I'm like, that's cool. But like, what about like digital marketing? And like, what about, this is in like 2012, 2013. And so I was like, what about this? What about Vine? What about like,
right.
And they were like looking at me like I had 3 heads. Like, it was like, but the artist was like, he was recouped in his deal before the record even came out.
Wow.
Which is very unusual. And
good for him.
Which we were like, he did very well in sync stuff, like TV and ad stuff. We were just like, what are we doing? Like, we were like, we should just be doing this ourselves. And so like, that was sort of like the catalyst to what we are today, which is like, we really think that every detail of an artist's career matters. So like down to like the artwork, to the sound of the hi-hats, to the like, you know, like to the who the agents are, to who like creative decisions are business decisions and business decisions are creative decisions. And
come on.
So we take that really, really seriously. And we basically did that for other artists. We did it for an artist named Yeji, Channel Trace, JPEG Mafia, and we have some more now, but we work with very, very few artists because we are so hands-on with what we do. And we take, like, these are people's careers too. Like people don't talk about that a lot in our business. Like this is somebody's life. This is their whole career. Like we just take that responsibility very seriously.
Wow. You said so many great things. That people forget, like it's someone's life. Like this is someone's whole life. This is their dream. And they have entrusted you to help them cart that dream off into the sunset. You know? Yeah,
for sure. And also like for me, like I've worked at a lot of these big companies, and particularly like in the major label system, when I worked there, it was, you know, their business model is really different. And like they kind of act like VCs now. Like they just kind of like throw money at stuff that's kind of already like something that's like blowing up on TikTok or, you know, whatever the latest thing is, instead of actually like signing that artist a year earlier and putting in the work and actually developing it. And for me, it was like if I'm going to look at numbers all day and see what's trending, like I would have been a banker, and like, that's not why I work in music. And for me, I love making records. I love that creative process. That's the fun part. And like,
of course,
you know, it was frustrating for me in that job because there were so many artists who I won't name right now, but like artists that have become very big artists that I wanted to sign, but they were like, no, because it wasn't, you know, the data didn't say it in that way. So, which is why a big reason why we started the company. So.
Yeah. And what was that transition like for you, you know, going from these big companies to kind of getting your own thing started? Because entrepreneurship can be scary. You're really taking that leap.
Yeah.
And a lot of people may not want to take a chance on you initially because name recognition. Everyone's like, yo, do they have a verified check? What's their followers looking like?
Yep.
Like who's on their roster, all that. So what was that transition like for you in the early stages and kind of to where you are now with God Mode?
I mean, it was honestly super scary. And we like ate peanut butter and jelly for a while. And, you know, it was scary also because like, you know, I was used to emailing from that like big, you know, music email address, and that has power. And I'm like, oh, nobody's going to fuck with me now that I'm not working there. And some people don't, you know, and like, that's part of it. But then suddenly like, I kind of just put my head down. Like you have to make a decision, honestly, to like put your head down and actually just do the work. And then everything else follows. And I still laugh now with people like that were more fickle in the beginning. Cause like now when I have an artist that they want, you know, for X, Y, and Z, they're, oh, hey, how you doing? Like, oh, I miss you so much. You know, like all that stuff. And but it's fine. It's like, you see it for what it is. And it's, you know, it's business, but but yeah, it was very scary in the beginning. And I think, you know, it was, I guess we weren't starting at 0 when I first quit, because this was my illegal side hustle for a minute while I was at Capitol. So like you do, but it was definitely not allowed in my contract. And I definitely did it anyways, and I would do it all over again the same way. So it's but yeah, so I didn't have like, we weren't in trouble, but it was definitely a big transition.
Wow.
Yeah, and it's kind of like now you're at the point, Grammy nominated company, and it's almost like you're going against the grain, because a lot of people submit to these big labels. They feel like they have to go that route, and you're kind of their competition, for lack of a better word. So like, what's that mean to you to be succeeding while not just giving in to what the system? A lot of people feel like they have to give into the system. Like, well, what's that mean for you to really get something off the ground and be performing at the high level that you are?
Well, look, I mean, I think there's a time and a place to work with the system, and I think that's important. And we some of our deals are with majors, but it just has to come at the right moment, and I think that's really important. So I'll say that as a preface. But no, I mean, what's really interesting is like having, we do deals with artists. We have moments where like an artist is blowing up, and then we do a deal. But like the majors, like they don't know anything more than we do, and like unless you're Megan Thee Stallion or a top artist, they're not spending that crazy money on you. And for every other artist, like we're spending the same amount of money as they are. So it's been cool to like it feels like the Wild West right now, because they don't know anything more than we do, and it feels like anyone can really have a shot in having success. And so I think that's what feels most exciting right now, to be able to do it on our terms and and still have success.
That's beautiful. I love that. I wanted to ask you, so like, how would I went through the rabbit hole when I was looking at the artist, the roster, and I had a great time. I just had a great time. I watched the JPEG Nardwar.
I was gonna say, I feel like you're gonna I'm getting a JPEG.
I loved it. It was hilarious. But I also just really loved Leo. Like I really found the connection to his whole everything, like the aesthetic. I felt that the top down approach, I felt that everything mattered, everything was intentional, especially in the visuals. So I'm just curious, it's like, can just kind of speak a little bit to how you approach artist development, and how you approach your roster, and how you assist them, and how you be a resource to them.
I mean, Leo is a really, really special kid, and he's excellent at his visuals specifically. And he is really like, almost when he's writing the song, he's already like storyboarded the video in his head. Right. And so I can't take any credit for that with him. That's honestly all him. And he's very, he's just a very visual person, and how he makes stuff. And so, but yeah, he's honestly, like, his story, it's not one that I would have expected to come from us, because of what happened with him. And basically, like, his first ever song that he put out, called Boyfriend, blew up on TikTok in December of 2019. And like every major label was throwing like bags of money at him, like literally bags of money. I'm not joking when I had said I had presidents of labels texting me the emoji of money bags for him.
Wow.
It was just one of those stupid situations.
Wow.
And so, because it was really like, I think he's actually a great example of, like, there was the music and the visual matched perfectly with the music and the artwork, and even just like, should this be lowercase? Should this be capitalized? Like,
yes.
All of it, we get really granular with it. And even just how it was rolled out, like how he put up, what the rollout plan was for how he launched it on TikTok, and all of that we really, really deliberate with. But, also just to say as a side note, like, that doesn't mean it costs a lot of money. It just means you're really thoughtful about it. We made that music video for $1,000. So it's like, and it's an incredible video.
Amazing.
But yeah. And then it blew up on TikTok, and we had a partnership with Republic Records, and he's a special kid.
Wow. That's amazing. No, I immediately noticed that there's a different level of intention here with every detail. But as we speak about details and anything, so I'm an artist myself too. So I kind of, for this podcast, I speak from an artist perspective, I speak to artists as well. So I'm curious, when you're talking about being granular and getting into all the details of every little thing, how do you balance not overthinking and overcooking the food? How do you balance that?
It's hard. I mean, I think sometimes, I think we struggle with this more with, it's funny, like Nic and I joke that some of our favorite records and some of our most successful records were records that we probably, not exaggerating, had 50 plus versions of before it was done.
Wow.
But what has almost always happened is we get through 50 versions of it, and then we're like, you know what? Version number 2 was the best.
Yeah.
And I think sometimes like your initial instinct is correct, and we're pretty quick to, call ourselves out on that. And, I definitely drive Nic crazy with mixes and vice versa, but, and with all of our artists. But it can be hard. I think sometimes, look, at the end of the day, you are on a deadline and you are on a schedule. So you have to, there is always a pencils down moment. I'm often the bad guy telling everyone that it's pencils down moment, but it's, I guess we don't usually have that problem. We usually know it when we see it, where we're like, okay, this is the thing. And, and, it's time. And if it's, sometimes if a song's not ready, like there's a Channel Trace song that's coming that the hook from that song we've had for like a year and a half, and it just wasn't time. And it wasn't, we kind of didn't know where it was going to fit in. And now it's like, oh, this is it. So.
Love it. I love to hear that. Yeah, no, it's one of those things where you have to really trust the instinct. So as you put the details, you put the work in to where when you feel it, it's like you're just waiting for, oh, there it is. I feel that now. I'm
exactly.
Yeah.
Like to use Channel Trace as an example, like before he was working with us, he had never ever, his music's kind of like dance music, like Chicago house dance
producer music. Yeah, love it.
And before he was working with us, he had never ever put his vocals on a record before. And mind you, his voice, like his speaking voice, he sounds like Barry White. Like he has that like deep, like beautiful
rich
voice.
Tone,
And he had never, like, he's going to make millions of dollars when you're like doing voiceover work, for like a cartoon. But he's like, he had never put his voice on a record. And so he comes in, he works with Nic, and Nic was like, oh my God, like your voice, like that's what this should be. You should be making Chicago house music. And like they made one of his biggest songs like on day 2 of working together just because it clicked.
Wow.
And I think sometimes something we say a lot here is like, oftentimes artists don't know what's the most special thing about themselves. And it's our job to just like shine a light on it and to make that as clear as possible to the world.
Wow.
Talk about it.
I'm writing these down.
Nah, I don't know. I'm just talking. I don't know.
I mean, the proof is in the pudding. But what's your biggest advice, I guess, to people who are in your position working with artists, but then also to artists in terms of their own development? Like, where do you think people go wrong with developing themselves or developing an artist?
I guess to start with from an artist perspective, I'll start there. I think it can be really overwhelming to be a new artist and to be like, oh my God, I want to be like Kanye. I want to be like this, but how do I get there? And I think, something that we even think about with some of our bigger artists and a new release, it's like, how do you find your first 10 fans, literally 10, and think about it that way. And like, how do I get 10 people on board to fucking with my stuff? And because you can wrap your head around that, and then it's like, okay, and then it really makes you ask all the right questions, like, who are those people? Like, are they men? Are they women? Or how old are they? Like, are they like, where do they live? All of those sorts of things. And then you can really hone in on that, and then that can grow. Then you're like, okay, how do I find another 20 people? And that really can grow exponentially very quickly, because building an artist is really like, not for every type of music, but for a lot of music that I work with, it's really about building community, and it's about finding the people who will also be into this. And so if you think about it that way, I think that feels more attainable. And then I guess from the executive perspective, I think one thing, people underestimate is like, everyone knows networking is important, but I think more specifically, networking with people who are in the same like place as you is very, very, very important. Like I look back to all of my friends from when I was in the mailroom at WME, you know, however many years ago, and all those people are doing crazy things. Like one of them is Post Malone's agent. One of them is managing Uzi. One of them is managing Chrissy Teigen. One of them is like, everyone's doing crazy things, and you help each other as you, because you're all growing together. And it's really like, I think that is really, really important, just to like really bond with the people that you're coming up with, and you know, put in like, those are going to be your people forever. And I could call any one of those people, like I've known them, you know, for so long. I could be like, hey, I need help with this. They'll be like, I got you, you know, because you have such an old connection with them. And, you know, and that's really important.
So I want to ask you, what are 3 words you would use to describe God mode? And that could be just from any level, from the artist to you and Nic's relationship to anything. What are 3 words you would use to describe God mode?
I don't know if this is cheating, because it's not, it's a phrase, but it is 3 words. I would say small but mighty.
Small but mighty. We love that.
I don't know if that's cheating, but
no, it's not cheating. I think
okay.
I think that is indicative of what you've done. I mean, given, you know, Leo's situation with the boyfriend going #1 on Spotify, and just like the things that you have done with the artists that you have, who are very, I would say, very dialed in to who their communities are. I wouldn't even call them small artists. I wouldn't call them independent artists. People don't understand, like, if you're an artist that has engaged community, you can eat, and like your bank account can have commas and you can still go to the grocery store and live your life. You don't have to be at these crazy levels. But that's just, I think, one thing that really resonated with me when I was doing the research and preparing for this, is just like, wow, they're really doing it, and they're just doing it at their own pace, their own way, their own style. So I just wanted to say, you know, shout out to y'all and everything that you're doing, and giving you your respect and your propers. Here are your roses, if no one's giving you your roses yet, you know, just giving them that for doing the amazing things y'all doing for artists. So I love that.
No, I appreciate that. No, I think, just to echo what you said, I think the business is really different than what it used to be. That like, there are, like, I work with an artist named JPEG Mafia, who he's like an alternative rapper or an experiment, whatever you want to call him. And he's not on, you know, rap radio stations, but he has a massive, massive following. Huge. And a massive business, because his fans are obsessed. And it's like out of the mainstream, but it's massive. But also, like, Tyler used to be out of the mainstream, and now he is the mainstream. And so I think it's a really different landscape than what it was. And so, you know, you don't have to be a certain thing to have success.
Yeah, things have definitely opened up with, you know, the advancements of technology and social media and all that. Like, I just think it's so crazy. Back in the day, like, radio was really how you found out about artists. You had to be on forums or blogs, and now it's like you could be on IG and you could be hip to an artist in Nebraska just because, you know, their reel comes across your explore page or your Spotify algorithms. Like, you know, we're kind of being given the stuff rather than us having to seek it out back in the LimeWire and the Kaza days and all that.
Sure. For sure. Oh, I haven't heard that in a minute.
Right. So it's really cool. There's a lot of things for artists to take advantage of, and I'm glad we're able to have you here to speak to that. Now, lastly, to close off, you know, you spoke a bit earlier about how God Mode's got a small roster because you guys have a very holistic approach to everything that you're doing. You know, would you be looking to take on anyone else if the situation was right? And just generally, what's next for God Mode?
Always looking for artists. That's never not looking. We always say it has to be the right fit for the artist as much as it has to be the right fit for us. It's a really big decision, but always looking. And no, I think we're just looking to, I think that this next year, particularly for Channel Trace, is going to be a really big one for him. We got some very exciting music in the bag, and he's playing all the festivals and doing all the things. So I'm very excited for that year with him. And then I think we're also looking specifically to really grow the label. So for a lot of the artists, I manage them and label. Some artists are just management, and we're looking to specifically grow the label side. So I'm really excited for that.
Awesome. Incredible. Incredible. Well, thank you again so much for giving us your time, your insight, for hearing your story. There is something in, whether you're an artist, someone to be an exec, someone who just loves music and loves to learn, there is something for all of you within this conversation. So make sure that you tap in. Make sure you follow godmode at godmode_music on Instagram. See everything that they're doing. 2022 is going to be big for them, just like it's going to be big for us. So Talya, again, thank you so much for your time and your insight. It's great to have you.
Thank you so much for having me. It was a lot of fun.
Of course. So thank y'all for tapping in as well. Make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel so you can see us glowing on Zoom. Stay busy nationwide. We doing the thing. It is Armon, the real Armon Sadler, not the underscores, not the Sadler Armon. Here with the guy, Nic Earley, Kombucha King that makes your heart sing. And we had our incredible guest, Talya Elitzer here. We want y'all to stay safe, stay humble, and stay busy.
Baby girl, how you feeling? I've been out in the world, staying busy, taking time, getting right if you miss me. I've been out in the world, staying busy.
Mondays 9 a.m. Mondays 9 a.m. Party with the gang. Every week tell a friend. Busy over everything. Busy boys, gotta call now. Ain't you heard? Got the vibes. They put you on. Got the slides. I'm the size. Running down. No, we hold it down.
Baby girl, how you feeling? I've been out in the world, staying busy, taking time, getting right if you miss me. I've been out in the world, staying busy.